Welcome to Motivation. My name is Noluthando and this is where beauty meets motivation. I am pretty confident that by the end of this episode, you are going to feel inspired to start. You're going to feel inspired to live within your power, your intelligence, and your creativity, because my guest does it all. Her name is Thandeka Mngomezulu. She is the CEO and founder of TotalServe Facilities Management. And this is a company with a national footprint. She started the company from zero in 2013, and now it employs 560 people. I said 560 individuals from underprivileged communities. TSFM is a role player in the infrastructural sector. Thandeka is also a mother, with a teenager and a toddler. If you know what that means, you know. But amongst the many things that she does, she's also achieved a lot, which is something that I would like to honor and highlight. Hence, I've got it on the teleprompter so that I don't mess it up. She has won the award for Topco and Standard Bank Women Entrepreneur of the Year in 2021. Also, CEDA SMME of the Year Entrepreneur of the Year in 2019. VW Grow Fellow in 2019, representing South Africa with 40 women around the world in Amsterdam. Investec Global Exposure Beneficiary in 2016, Berlin, Germany. Durban Chamber of Commerce Incubation Beneficiary 2017, and Propreneur X-Graduate in 2020. Right? Thandeka, welcome to Motivation, and thank you so much for taking the time to be here.
Thank you, Thando, and it's lovely to be here. As the church would say, Kumnandi Gubala. It's nice to be here. Thanks for inviting me, and hi to everyone that is part of the Pure Motivation tribe. It's an honor being here, and I'm really excited to have a chat with you around everything that I do.
Stunning, and you look amazing. My guest always very demure, very mindful, very cutesy. Thandeka, where do you get the audacity to be all these things that you are? Where do you get all this motivation and drive?
For me, I think from an early age, I've always affirmed myself by saying I am where I am supposed to be. I do what it is that I do because I have a duty to do it.
Yes.
And that means also taking care of myself. I take care of myself all the time. I devote time. I was saying to you, every Thursday is a me day because I have a family and I need to pour into them on the weekend, and I have a business and businesses to run. So it's quite important for me to allocate one day a week. Sometimes it's not a full day, but I do try and do something for myself so that I can pour into that cup that requires me to pour into so many things that I do.
I get it. When you started TotalServe, were you starting a business, or were you starting this organization that it actually is? And the reason I'm asking the question this way is because I'm always sharing and teaching my audience that start, and then you'll be shown the way. Because most times people or individuals want to really focus on the bigger picture and then lose sight of the fact that you just need to start. So my question is, were you starting a 560 employee organization, or you were just starting a business?
For me, because I started a business while I was still working in corporate and I had been exposed to a lot of business sectors, I was starting a sustainable legacy. Not for me, I wanted to impact communities that I lived in and communities in South Africa. So I had a clear vision that I wanted to employ people so that they could feed their own families. I wanted to build a sustainable business that will live beyond me.
Yes.
So all the steps that I've taken are to ensure that we get to that ultimum.
And you have.
I'm trying. We haven't gotten there. We still have a huge vision to unpack.
Yes.
For me and my team, I always say we are building a business that will compete with JSE listed companies. Whether we are listed ourselves in a few years' time, but we work every single day and walk the talk around being listed as a company that is South African, 100% South African, Black woman owned, that is competing with companies on the stock exchange.
And who do you have to be Thandeka? Because people see different people, whether online, on social media, or in your space, in your industry, and you have either someone who is younger or someone who is upcoming, and they most probably think, what would it take for me to be that? So who do you have to be characteristics-wise, mental attitude-wise? Who do you have to be to actually be Thandeka Mngomezulu, heading this organization, being a mother, and achieving all other things on the side?
That's a hard one because Thandeka is a very messy person and she's gone through a lot of things to be where she is, and she's really not where she wants to be ultimately. So I think the main thing is to be yourself and understand that life is a wave. You will have your down days and your up days, and you have to ride the wave through it all. So I think focus and exposing yourself to what is out there is the main thing, and having a clear, not a perfect vision, but a clear vision of where it is that you need to be. And follow those steps in your own pace. Because I think in terms of identity, we are different people to different people. And I guess we're so clouded with the digital online persona that we see of people, and we start thinking, oh, I am not where I'm meant to be. But having your own clear vision and following those steps in your own way and having faith. I mean, faith in God is a big thing, and faith in yourself. Because we get clouded with the noise that's out there.
100%.
And we forget about what it is that we are ordained to do. And the power that we have within ourselves. So for me, I think what's helped me is to be grounded in my spiritual life. To be grounded in my home life, and also to be grounded in the work that I've had to put in to develop on not only myself, but the people around me, so that we can mold a company that can be competing with big companies out there. I think for me, it's having a clear vision of what it is that you need to get to. I think when we're growing up, we always say, when I grow up, I want to be like Oprah. And we forget the steps that Oprah had to follow. So it's not having a heroic person or a symbolic person in life is great, but you need to also understand that that person that you're looking up to has steps that they've gone through to get to, that molded them to get to where they are. And in business world, I think if you want to start a bank, look at the banks that are out there and look at the way in which they do things, so that you can be able to copy and paste and learn from some of the things, but open your mind to knowing that there are high positives and very high or low negatives that form a person. So I wouldn't say be a Thandeka, but be yourself and be the best that you can while being you.
Be yourself and do everything that you're doing the best way that you can. I love the fact that you mentioned that people would mention that I want to be like Oprah, but then you don't know the process. And just yesterday, I saw a video where this gentleman was saying, everyone wants what you have, but they don't want how you got there, right? Have you always been like this? Have you always been a woman that has a vision, a woman that follows their vision, a woman that goes out there and gets, because, I mean, you started your company, your organization from zero, right? And there definitely is someone out there not knowing, how do I even, where do I even start? Do I even know myself? So what I want to get to is, how did you get to be this Thandeka? And what was the driving force behind it?
Okay, thanks for that. I think, no, the answer is I've not always been who I am now. And I'm not where it is that I need to get to. But circumstances in life and stages in life cause one to choose to be the person that they are. I think you're born with an identity genetically. You're born with an identity through your parents and experiences that you have. But as you grow in your 20s and your 30s, I think though the milestones in life that shape who you want to be. I always say a lot of my friends have been through teenage pregnancy, and that experience has shaped them to be who they are now, because it not only teaches you your responsibility, it teaches you to care for another person. It teaches you. So everything that happens to you should be able to shape you to the identity that you want.
Yes.
So every single day, it's always about asking yourself, am I still aligning to the vision that I want for myself?
Yes.
If I want to be Oprah, am I still aligning to being Oprah?
Yeah.
And shaper, you will fall along the way. But I think it's very important that you know what the vision is.
Yes.
So for me, each step and each thing that you touch, each group that you converse with, what you watch, what you listen to, what you eat, where you go, is the shape.
Where you sleep,
who you sleep with, who touches you, doesn't touch you, is also a pathway for you to get to who you want to be in your 40s. I'm 42, and for me, who I was in my 20s and in my teenage life is totally different. I have been that strong person because I was born around a lot of men and around a lot of boys.
Yeah.
I'm the eldest of a lot of boys.
Yes.
So for me, I have always been shaped to be resilient because growing around boys, you can't cry.
I mean,
you can't. You have to shape up. The minute you cry, you are told. I've had to heal those scars through therapy in my olden ages.
Yes.
But I've always been that resilient person. I've always been the independent person. That's my core, and I've always been a nurturer, and that's a core that I've had to accept. It's like a thing that I've had to wear, a cape that I've had to wear to understand that I'm not only being used by people in particular ways.
Yeah.
I am in this earth to nurture.
Yes.
So I nurture at home, I nurture with my own family, I nurture at work, and empowerment is something that I believe in, and it's always, and for me to understand that I'm put into this world to be a nurturer, it makes life easier.
Yeah. Does.
So,
and you add value. You still live out your femininity, because femininity is really, us nurturing.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah.
Was there ever a time in your life, at any point, where you could not see the Thandeka that you are now coming alive? Was there ever a moment, an event, or anything, a circumstance where you thought, you know what, I might not make it? And I ask all my questions with the intention to feed back to those at home, because someone who has a dream of one day running a successful organization, but where they are right now, it just doesn't seem feasible. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. Was there ever a moment like that in your life?
Every day. I think every single quarter or year it happens.
Yeah.
Because when you build something, whether you almost mentoring a child or nurturing a child to grow, or a business, I always say everything has a heart in it. It's a beating thing. A business is a beating thing, and it has its own feeling.
It's a pulse.
You might not see it, alive talking to you, but the things that happen within that process show you who you are and what it is that you need to do.
Yes.
So for me, yes, of course, every milestone and every step or every client I need to onboard or any, objectives that I need to deliver on the company, the imposters do come every single day, because you are doing something beyond you. I think you are empowering beyond your own capabilities. And when it is that you understand why you're doing it, I'm a great believer of the concept of ikigai, because I think it makes life easier. When it is that you're doing something that you love, that you also can get paid for. You are able to say, anyway, I love this and I'm going to get paid for it. So that kind of attitude helps you able to get off bed and be able to climb and learn and do what it is that you need to do.
And overcome that sense of...
because it comes. That comes, and when I think you need to be strong in your faith and strong, whether spiritually or in any way where it is that you believe in yourself. And you can be able to say, God, dude, help me here. I can't. I'm still trying to do your vision that you've imparted in me. But today I cannot. Please take over. And it happens.
It does.
It does. And sometimes I'd be driving after crying and doing something, and then something happens, and then I always find myself winking to the sky because it's like, I know you got me, you know,
Yes.
and it's happening, and it's just a warmth virtual hug that one cannot get. But I think, without being too winded on this question, I think for me, the fear will come always, every day, and the imposter thoughts will come for you to ask yourself all the time, what is it that I'm doing wrong?
Yes.
Am I at the level in which, and those are good.
Yeah, because you introspect in a way.
So whatever feeling that comes that feels bad, take it as an opportunity for you to do better, not a failure.
Right.
Because
whatever
the minute
feeling.
you say, I can't, why can't you?
Yes.
Can you turn that to, you know, what if I can?
Yes. Introspect.
Yeah, introspect within yourself and be true to yourself, and have compassion for yourself.
And that's a thing that we really take for granted, to just have compassion for yourself.
Yeah.
Because we get so, especially if you aspire to be somewhere in life, to do something, and then you have this determined mindset, right? Because you aspire to be somewhere. And then you either drop the ball somewhere or something happens. I suffer from that a lot. I become so hard on myself. For example, if, let's say, a guest of mine was to arrive much earlier than myself, or I'm late, I will beat myself down so much. And how can I, if I were to ask advice from you, how can I get over that? Because I beat myself up for things that I don't do well.
Thando, I don't think you get over it, to be honest. It's about integration.
Okay.
How do you live with it?
Okay.
How do you survive with it? How do you make it your friend? How are you able to call it into order?
Yes.
By suppressing it somehow, by you having the power to suppress it. But it also comes first with acknowledging it and accepting it.
Yeah.
Say, you say to it, I see you, not now.
I recognize.
I recognize you,
Yes.
I'll attend to you. You're not putting it somewhere where it doesn't belong, because you won't know how to land there.
Yes.
Because it is a part of you.
Yeah.
We are built to have that anxiety. There is no one that can say, I never have anxiety around anything. So we are built to have that, it's part of our pulse.
Yes.
So how do you coexist with it? And try and find, so you acknowledge, you accept, and try and find ways in which you can have it present in the room with you, but don't let it overpower you.
Sure. Don't.
So
consciousness. I'd like to go back to something you touched on. You've already touched on God, I think about 3 times. And one of the things that I really, with a passion, would like to impart to my audience is that I don't know, and I'm not even going to generalize, let me personalize that. Growing up, there was this whole notion that, to be godly is to be okay with the bare minimum. It's to be okay even sometimes with poverty. It's to be okay being a beggar. That's what a good person is. That's how, because, money is the root of all evil. But through God and life and revelations, you realize that actually it's the opposite. A godly life is a successful life. A godly life is a prosperous life. How involved is God in your business? And I'm intentionally asking business because, like I said, I want to bridge that gap and remove this narrative, or help change this narrative that successful people are not godly. And successful people, we've got all these things, and that might be true.
Yeah.
However, on the opposite end of the spectrum, success is godly.
Yeah.
So how involved is God in your business, in your life?
I'd say God is a coach, just like God is a founder of my life. God is also a co-founder of my businesses.
Yes.
I think for me, thinking that anyone else can say, why do you believe so much in it? I think the minute I realized that I'm not here to make profit first, I'm here to fulfill a purpose. Then profit came. And I can't be shy around the profits that come, because I have asked for it.
And you fulfill the purpose.
And I fulfilled the purpose.
Yes.
And therefore profit then came. And prophets, when the bag comes, you need to love the bag. You need to care for the bag. You need to make sure that you respect how the bag came. So for me, I don't believe in living a mediocre life.
Yeah.
And I believe in excellence, not perfection. So excellence is for you, no matter what you have and don't have. Leave the house clean, smell good if you can, polish your shoes. Then you attract what it is that should come your way.
Yeah.
So God is a co-founder. I mean, every single time, every single day, I pray for my business through obviously speaking to God.
Oh, yes.
And it's turned around a lot. It's turned around in me not being too frustrated around things that are happening in the country, in the world. But it's also turned around my perspective of my why.
Okay.
And I think for a good 5 years, I wasn't sure why it is that I was running a business.
Yeah.
But I've had to search for meaning around that to understand, why am I here?
Yes.
Why do I have to be the one being so frustrated when people are in corporate and doing other things? And I think we look down on our business because you always say Nyazama.
Yes.
Understand that there is a purpose that you are fulfilling, so that then things are easier to do.
Yeah.
You are easily accessible, and you are able to fulfill what people need.
Yes.
While you get paid for it.
Yes.
So I would say, don't be shy about your achievements. Don't be shy to buy that bag, those shoes, that dress. Because you've earned it.
Yes,
because
you serve the purpose.
You have fulfilled the purpose.
Yes.
So I don't believe in Gwingisha, if I can say that. I'm a lover of things.
Yes.
And I always say I'm doing what it is because I work hard. Anyone that has a question around that, it's not my problem.
It's not your problem.
Because they are not alive. Well, they're not awake when I'm not asleep.
Yes.
They are sleeping when I'm awake. So for me, it's quite important that we realize that you have earned your space where you are.
Yes.
You have earned your value.
Yeah.
And you are exactly where it is that you're supposed to be.
And you're deserving.
And you're deserving.
As a child of God, you are deserving.
Nkulunkulu always, I always say God doesn't like mediocre as well.
It doesn't. Oh, he doesn't.
But you have to have the faith
that.
to know that your provision is attached to your duty.
100%. 100%. So I want to come to the whole different, let me say, I often hear the phrase, in fact, it's a phrase that is known, that we wear different hats for different things. And I want to link it to the awareness that is happening right now all over the world, where young people, my daughter included, who's 16, are getting this sense of awakening that, yes, I might want a job, but at the same time, I am now, and I don't even know how to describe it, but I'm going to describe it anyway. In our time, we were not really taught that you go into a job and you have a personality for the job. But now I see it, there's that awakening where even other people are saying online, you don't even need to be friends with your coworkers. You don't need to do this. You don't need to share, which to some extent, it really does make sense, because when I look back at some of the problems I had, they started when I told someone that I had a good time on the weekend, So there is this whole awakening and consciousness around who we have to be in the workspace. Now, bringing it to you as a boss, as a leader, as a CEO of a company, dealing with all these personalities, you may not be dealing with them individually directly, but at the end of the day, how real and how practical is that concept of you have to have a work personality?
I'm old school, Thando, and I'm an employer, so I do actually struggle with a whole lot of new concepts.
New concepts, yes.
Because for me, as I say, I'm old school. The business of the day must be about the business of the day. And once the business of the day is correctly done, you can be whoever that you want to be. What it is that I've seen clouding the youngies that are going to a workplace is they want to wear that hat of consciousness, and they forget that the business of the day, you still need to meet your deadline.
Yes.
You still need to grow and, climb the ladder. You can choose to not have friends, but you also need to output what it is that the business requires.
Yes.
So I find that there is a huge cloud of personal things happening. Let me feed my spirit.
Yes.
But there's less work output that is happening in the workplace. I've been ranting a lot because for me, I think as the business grows, or when the business started, I used to also, hire young ones to grow them in the business. And over the years, it's turned to be something that I find frustrating to do because my job is to focus on the business of the day. We must work hard in order to play hard. We input so we can output and lead and grow.
Yeah.
But recently, I've been grappling with the whole consciousness, mental health, this, that. I find that, the young ones have forgotten why it is that they're at the workplace, to learn, to grow, to attain, to get to a level, to, be the person that impresses,
to network,
to be irreplaceable, to network, to grow.
Yes.
I find that has taken a big step, but what's happening is me. But working environment is a community.
Yes.
It's like a schooling environment. It's a community. One learns a lot from the people, the co-employees that are there, or the colleagues. But I think what's important is to understand the business of the day and to fulfill that. And you can be anyone. You can be a person that does not speak to anyone, and that's fine for me as an employer. But give me my work as well. And I want to also see you grow, because my purpose is to make sure that you grow.
I get it completely.
So I'm not against the concept, but I'm also still old school, and I'm also running.
We just find a balance
to grow. There should be an integration.
Because you said be whoever you want to be, but deliver.
And I'm finding that it's very difficult for people to deliver, because they putting the forefront is the personal, I feel, before the fact of why it is that you're here. Because there's a feeling that's very important.
Yes.
How do you integrate the two to make sure that feeling and fact coexist?
I love
We're
that.
not saying that the feeling must not exist.
Yes.
But the fact of why it is that you came into this place is to output work and to learn, to grow, to empower yourself, to be a top person at the top of the organogram at some point.
You heard it. You heard it from the boss herself.
And I'm not being mean. I'm just being very realistic.
It's about learning, because at the end of the day, if we did not need the learning, everyone
would be home,
or everyone would then be not needing employment experience and the teachings and learning. So I hope you caught that. I hope your feelings are valid. Be whoever you want to be. Screw. But outputs is what is important.
Give me my work.
Now, if we dive into motherhood, which is obviously a very important part of your life, has motherhood impacted your identity? And I ask this because there's a whole conversation going on globally. There are women who are taking a stance. They don't want to be mothers. And I support you as a mother. And there are women who are saying, what are you going to do if you're not a mother?
Yeah.
What is going to happen to your life? And I still support you as long as you are set in your choices. But if we bring it to you personally, what has motherhood done for you?
I think I'm a mother of two.
Yes.
So very big age gap between them. With my daughter, she's 19 this year. It taught me a lot of responsibility. I was 23 years old, and I had to learn to look beyond myself.
Yes.
So she actually is the reason I'm where I am now, because I've had to work extra hard to make sure that there's a mouth that need to be fed.
Yes.
And then later on in my life, my son came. He's 4 now. I think God was playing a trick on me, but I always take it in and say, okay, God, I see you trying to make me feel young, because that guy is making me run around and making me learn a whole lot of things about the softness that I need to have as a mother. Motherhood for me, I think with my son, I've learned so much in being soft. Because I am a very hard person. I'm learning. I'm doing a lot of work for myself to be softer. I'm always an input-output, and I'm sure you've heard about how it is that I speak of my work.
Yes.
But my son has taught me to be soft.
Calm down.
To calm down,
Yeah.
to realize glimmers every single day, to appreciate trees, to appreciate cranes on the road, to appreciate colors.
Wow.
So I think for me, he's grounded me really well. And it's such a beautiful journey. I want to do it again
Yes.
and again and again. But I think for my daughter, my poor daughter had to go through hell because I was building while it is that.
And I really
did it. Yeah.
Yes.
So the second one for me has really, he wants my attention. I need to be present. So I've learned to just, drop whatever it is that I'm doing to focus on him, because it's quite important that I do that, because you can't make up the time.
Yes.
So I think for me, motherhood has not been a very easy journey. Trying to have a child at my age has been hard. And but we call him a miracle baby, not just because God gave him to us, but the way in which he was formed and the success in which he was formed is something so precious to us. So yeah, I'm soft.
He's introduced you to that. And I can completely attest to that, because so many times, especially because I'm inquisitive and I love listening to people, because when you listen to people, you are then able to grasp people's opinions and perceptions, and in that way it helps me to also see where the world is kind of going. And I'm seeing so many times online, I'm seeing how people are saying motherhood is a trap, and I'm not saying it's not true, because there are things that even I have experienced in motherhood that caught me off guard, right? But I completely attest to what you're saying, that your children teach you so much, And I was even saying I had to have a moment of having humble pie with my daughter, because she goes to a school where, there's so many things that are being done, sports, this, that. And I once said to her, can I be honest with you? At times I drop the ball with you, not because it's intentional, because this is a new world for me.
True.
I literally had to come down to a level. I said, firstly, I did not even do sports at school. Secondly, all these things that you guys are doing, for us, it was just go school, come back, right? And I said, please forgive me. I'm learning. It's new. And please give me grace. If you have to remind me 16 times, it's fine, because I'm still learning. And with this one, the young one, my 6-year-old, completely different story, because now it's like already I've had an intro with, not to rant. Sorry, I just couldn't. I just completely love the fact that I could relate to that. When it comes to your upkeep, yourself, this is Bumovation, it's about beauty and motivation. And the beauty aspect of it, to be very clear, is not from an angle of being superficial. It's really about appreciating and embracing who you are. You said that Thursdays is those days, it's actually the day of the week where you have time for yourself. How important is that? And what does it do for you?
Absolutely important. It's a need. It's not a want.
Yeah.
Just like I have to pour into myself every single day. So because of my very busy schedule of my kids and work and my wife and home and everything that requires me, I've had to plan better.
Yes.
And so that I don't neglect myself. So I don't call it self-care, I call it self-love every single day.
Yes.
I try as much as I can, whether I'm working whether I'm local or I'm working elsewhere, is to create a routine, an everyday routine.
Yes.
Where it is that I wake up an hour early every day to just focus on me. So I recently discovered, I used to do the treadmill, but I've recently discovered wall Pilates.
Okay.
Which is the best thing, because I can do it in my room, in my bedroom. I can do it naked.
That going? Really?
Very well.
Yeah.
So I don't have to get up, because I'm struggling going to the gym, even though our home gym is actually an issue for me, because I need to dress up. So I get up at 5, I take off my pajamas, I lay my mat, everyone's sleeping. I can do my long shorts, no judgment. I'm free. I'm usually naked. Then I spend another 20 minutes reading or listening to a podcast and learning something, whether it doesn't have to be educational, as in studies. It's listening to a motivation podcast, listening to something that will make me learn.
Yes.
Then the last 20 minutes I spend focusing on my day and catching up a little bit on my work, so that when 6 or 6:30 starts and there's chaos in the house,
yes.
I'm then able to be humming a song and being
You're
okay.
already
in my zen. I don't always practice it because I also need to have self-grace. But I try very much to work out, to read or research and learn, and to plan my day.
Yes.
Usually that. On a Thursday, it's either I'm at a spa, or I'm doing my nails, or doing something, my hair, or something that speaks to me, or even having lunch with a friend.
Yes.
Is something that feeds me. So Thursday is my day. Yes, I have to do school pickup and if I can, but Thursdays are my days. But every single day I have to fill my cup.
Yes.
Because then I'm a very grumpy individual during the day if I don't do that.
Yes.
So it's quite important that you not finding balance, because I don't believe in balance. I believe in integration.
Yes.
And integrating things that are important. Me pouring to my kids is taking my son to school. After being zen, then I can look at the trees and look at the cranes and look at the cars, because then I've filled in my cup. It's difficult to wake up at 5 every day, but once you get into the practice, you can do that. And it doesn't have to be an hour, it can be 30 minutes. But meditate, do something that will make you a better person.
Exactly.
And when it is that I haven't done it, I always say to my wife that, oh my God, I need to do something so that I'm a better person.
Yes.
Because then I'm grumpy. Then I'm not serving what it is that I need to serve, because I haven't really focused on myself.
On yourself.
So it's quite important that you pour into yourself, because the world needs, or the world takes a lot.
It does. The world takes.
Your kids, everyone takes.
Yeah.
So what is it that you're gifting to yourself?
Yes.
Every day. A friend of mine created this: gift yourself with something every month. So we are sebenza, you're getting paid, but you're giving to everyone else. What is it that you're doing for yourself once a month?
To acknowledge.
When you look at the 12th month, you're like, actually, I've got 12 special things that I said I'm buying for my. Yes, you're buying shoes and bags every day, but the special, buy a nice oil, buy, something that actually says I'm gifting myself. You can wrap it. You can ask the shop to wrap it.
Yes.
Just for that, so that you also do not neglect yourself, because there's only one you.
Exactly. And you still need to glow.
And you need to glow.
Yes.
So go for that makeup class. Do something that will make you feed yourself and make you a more comfortable and confident person.
I love that. One of the major questions I get is people, young and old, from different walks of life, because I guess on the internet they see me as a big sister, and they write to me, which I love. Do not stop. Is being afraid to be different.
Yeah.
Most of the time. And I know that you live a very wholesome life, and you are unique in your life. You mentioned just now that your wife, and I know to some people that might be like, oh, okay. How easy or difficult is it in this day and age to live out your uniqueness and to be different according to societal, what society has taught us?
Okay, and I'll repeat this. And I think anything in life is about acknowledging and accepting.
Yes.
And understanding that you are where you are meant to be. You are you. There is no copy of you.
Yes.
Even your own twin is not a copy of you.
Yes.
So it's important for you to live your life the best way that you can, and being who you are. Because the more you shadow and shade and shame, and I think shame is a big thing for a lot of people. Bazothini obani.
Yes.
It's your life, and it's for you to live. Not your parents to live, not your church to live, not your kids or your friends to live.
Yes, not even your children.
People will catch on if you live authentically and come confidently. I think if you yourself are not confident about your persona, yourself, then it becomes an issue of, I'm gonna deal myself a half instead of a whole. It's always that in everything that you do.
Yes.
It's sexuality, gender, whatever the case may be. It's an issue around, what does it mean for you You must have meaning of why it is that you want to identify as X. You must have meaning because I think, as I say, identity, some of us are born with it, some of us learn it along the way.
Yes.
And it's how you position yourself and being okay with who you are first. Always say, you can't ask people to love you if you don't love yourself, if you don't show love and grace to yourself. The world is moving. People will decide for you how your life should be, including your parents. Our parents are vessels that are meant to guide us in life.
Yes.
So are we. We as parents were meant to guide and nurture our kids, not to decide their life for them. You can try and tweak. I want you to be a doctor. This guy is meant to be a musician, and you need to be that. That's the identity that they want.
Yes.
So for me, I'm very comfortable in my skin. I love who I am. I know that there's a reason why it is that I'm here.
Yes.
I didn't just wake up and decide, oh, I'm dumping this, I'm picking this up. Or I'm this person, I'm not going to be this person. If you know that there's a reason and you've spoken to your own holiness and your own spiritual feeds and your core, you are okay.
You're okay.
Yes, it hurts because sometimes the people that you hope to accept your decisions or accept your life or your making don't always. But it's always about finding that corner, and you'll meet a community that will be okay with you.
Yes.
You'll meet friends along the way. I'm still meeting new friends at my age that I'm sometimes like, okay, God, I see you. Because my prayer is always, I want to be surrounded and I want to impart and surround people that there's a purpose behind it.
Yes.
So I think for me, the issue of identity, you can make your identity. You can mold it. You can change it. You can
amend it. Evolve with
level
it. Up.
So there's a reason, and it's your destiny. We get born. We just never know who we're going to become.
Yes.
We need to take control of who we become.
I love that.
And be okay with that.
You need to take control of who you become. You heard it from Thandeka herself. Take control of who you want to become. So many pearls, so many nuggets. And what stood out for me is the confidence of knowing what you want and going after it, And before we wrap up, I would like to present to you, I know that there he is, my producer, said he wants to hand out the gifts so that I don't have to stand up. And this is really to say thank you for the time, for the effort, and to also just say, this is your pack that you're going to use for the evening.
For self-love.
For self-love.
I love it.
And it's from our friends at Curate, exclusively available at discount, and from Ever's Beauty.
Thank you so much.
Stone and
thank you. Anti-aging, I need it. Thank you so much.
It's really to say thank you and to help a bit in you pouring into yourself. So before we wrap up, Thandeka, I just would like you to really give a word to someone out there who, does not know themselves. Because like I said, I get so many questions. Who am I supposed to be? How do I talk to God? Where do I go? And that's when I realized, there is a need for direction. And if there is a young girl, a young boy, even an adult woman who dreams that one day I would like to lead a life where I'm a leader, I'm a mom, I'm intentional, I have time for myself every Thursday, but I just don't know how. And please speak to them.
I think firstly, pour grace into yourself, pour compassion. What we see on the internet is not the one.
No.
Or it is the one, but it's not you. Spending our life comparing ourselves and creating and putting a barometer on our lives is becomes the problem, because you're looking into someone else's journey, and it can be motivation, but it can't be your own life. So for me, what it is that I can say is have a vision. Firstly, I know it's a bit of a taboo or flat statement, but a vision helps you build the blocks. I said earlier, if you want to be an Oprah, what does it take? How many years does it take for you to at least make that first million. What does it take for you to get there? If you're building a business, what type of business are you building? Who are you attracting? How are you going to make money? If you want to be a mother, I think I planned so much in my life that I plan anything. I plan what's going to happen in the weekend for my family. What's going to happen after this podcast? I am that person, and it's through life experiences, because I thought that if I fail to plan, I'm planning to fail. So it's quite important as a young person to just focus on yourself, being authentic about where you are, and to pour grace, to understand that every single milestone, everything that you're going through is a learning. Don't take it as life is happening to me. Yes, life is happening to me, but I'm learning something. And if you don't do that, then you don't learn, you don't grow. So you are exactly where you're meant to be. Whether you are in a dark shadow at this point, it's meant to make you learn. But do not put an umbrella over your vision, because then you forget to see what the tunnel has at the end. So the tunnel is dark, but your vision is always, I need to get to the other side. So be consistent and persevere and understand your end goal. People talk about vision boards. I understand the concept of vision board. I might not be the creative to put a vision board, but it's visualizing your life now. On the net, you look at the people that you want to look like at some point, not you feeling like you should be at a particular point, but where is it that you're going? And take it step by step. Don't rush yourself. Learn a lot along the way. Study. Have a plan B. and always know that there's just one you, and you need to focus on the path of your own growth, not someone else's growth.
Focus on the path of your own growth. Thandeka, it has been amazing, and I hope you at home, you grab some nuggets, because if you didn't, I'm going to take them for myself, you know? I mean, from being confident to being set in who you are, to learning from your children, to really having the guts and the ability to say, I will start something and I will do it, and I will do it well. It has been amazing having you in studio on the Beamovation chair.
Absolute pleasure.
Truly wish you all the best of luck.
I need it.
With everyone and the babies and the family. You at home, please tell your mom to subscribe, tell your dad to subscribe, tell your papa, tell your ex to subscribe so they can be a better person. And we'll see you next week. This is Beamovation, where beauty meets motivation.